So today I wanted to talk about setting high standards and actually performing up to those standards. Usually when people talk about, we have high standards, they'll say, they mean that as like, in our minds, we perform way up here, when in actuality we don't perform anywhere closer, but we'll yell at people until they get there. I think it's very, very important for any team to have a set of high standards to follow, because if your standards are garbage, then your team's going to operate garbage and no one's going to want to work with garbage. Not saying that you as people are garbage, but your performance will be trash. So you need to make sure that you have those high standards up there so that people actually want to work with you. Accomplishing high standards really only takes three things. One, you need to make sure that you're clearly setting what the standard is. That means you're clearly communicating to your team, hey, everyone is in this, conference room by 12:55 every Monday so we can start the meeting on time at 1 o'clock. If everyone is crystal clear on what's expected of them, then you've set the standard. If you're really vague, like, hey, everyone, you just need to pick your game up, or you need to do better, or I need to see more of an effort, that's not good enough. You need to specifically tell people what you're expecting of them. If you don't specifically tell someone or write it down somewhere, then you should assume that they don't know what your high standards are compared to their own. And if there's that gray area, they're going to operate on what their standards are. Sometimes that's a good thing because they have really high standards too, but you should just assume that you need to be the one to set the standards. You need to make it clear to your team what those standards are. Next, immediately after you set those standards and you communicate to your team what they are, you need to be asking your team what they need from you in terms of support. Essentially, the conversation should go, hey everyone, moving forward, every single Monday, you need to be in that room and ready to go at 12:55 so that when 1 o'clock hits, we can start our meeting on time. Does anyone have any questions on what my expectations are? Okay, good. Now, what do you need from me in order to make sure that that's doable or that happens every single week? Do you need a reminder? Do I have to set something in your calendars? Should I be shooting an email the day before? Whatever you need from me, I will offer you that support because you need to be making sure that you are hitting that standard. Lots of times people won't do this step. They'll just throw out the expectations, and then when people don't make them, they'll just come down hard on them. That's where, verbal warnings, write-ups, performance improvement plans, terminations, that's where those happen. Because people will set standards and they will provide no support, and they'll just assume that everyone can meet it just like that because they said so. So you need to really make sure that you're offering your team the support that they need to make sure that they can meet those high standards. After those two things, your final follow-up is making sure that you're holding people accountable to that, people including yourself. Setting high standards really means nothing if you're willing to tolerate low standards. If I say, hey everyone, be in there at 12:55, meeting starts at 1, and then Bill wanders in at 1:20, and I just think to myself, oh well, it's probably close enough, he was probably busy, it's fine. That is what you're willing to tolerate, so that's what your team's performance is going to look like. I'm not saying you need to hold people accountable by punishing them, but you need to pull them to the side, meet with them, and say, hey, this was my expectation, this is what you did, there's a gap there, tell me where the gap came from, what are the issues, how can we fix it, because I need to get you over here where everyone else is. I cannot emphasize this enough. This accountability really, and tolerance level is really kind of what sets the standard. Whatever you're willing to tolerate is what your team will perform like. Again, if you have very high standards and you won't tolerate any deviance from that, which I think is good, that's what you should be doing. If you react with punishing people and yelling at them and giving them disciplinary actions, not only are they not going to want to meet your standards, if they are meeting your standards, it's only because they don't want to get in trouble or get fired again, but they're going to hate your guts. They're going to leave the first opportunity that they get, and whenever some situation pops up that they have the chance to throw you under the bus, that's what they're going to do, because that's, in their mind, going to be retribution for your, losing your emotions and punishing them for, being 15 minutes late. you shouldn't punish people for being 15 minutes late, but you absolutely should address it with them and say that, hey, this can't happen again. What do you need from me in order to make sure that it doesn't? So those are basically the 3 steps to having high standards. Make the expectation clear, offer your team every bit of support on what they need in order for them to meet that expectation, then hold yourself as well accountable to that standard. If your team is performing to the standard and you are running late or you're not meeting it, they're going to learn by example. They are going to say, hey, if the leader of the group doesn't view this as important, then neither should we. So that's it. Set the expectation, provide the support, hold accountability. That is Leadership 101 on standards. Bye.